This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Great to have you with us on the show today. Brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, and motorcycle, RV. Some of our insurance needs. And they do everything they can to save you money. It's all Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Thing where I felt I needed to save the show, save my reputation. There was only one route to go, I felt, to at least get me some semblance of credibility with the audience. That was to bring in the great Johnny Holiday. Johnny, thank you for bailing out an acquaintance.
You know, this is happening way too often.
I know.
I don't like to have to put the pressure on me to make your show sound good, to maybe grasp 1 or 2 wayward followers of you, Mr. Jones.
I know. I understand.
You've been saying this for years. Every time it's the same stuff. Okay?
I know.
I'm tired of it. You know I'm tired of it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to spend more than 30 or 45 minutes with you.
Yeah, well, yesterday, I was telling everybody earlier, yesterday we were on the phone for like an hour and 20 minutes.
It is absolutely lovely to be with you. Once again, it's so nice to be with you.
Yes, I have to give you credit. That text I sent you, you read that line perfectly. Thank you.
I'm a quick study.
Oh,
I am a quick study.
Well, first of all, Maryland has had a terrific year. But the game the other night, look, you've done, who knows how many now.
I've done 20. So far, I've done 25 games in my career.
Oh, good. So in the previous 24, have you ever encountered that one?
Yeah, I know. I've like you, I've been through buzzer beaters before.
Yeah.
You know, we lost at Northwestern at a buzzer beater in overtime. And first of all, there's no way we should have lost there, much less at overtime at a buzzer. Then we lost at Ohio State on a shot with like 6 seconds to go. But I've never seen one where the guy just launches it probably 30 feet beyond half court.
Yeah.
And throws it up and it goes in. I mean, how do you practice that? I know teams practice, half-court shots at the end of practice and stuff like that, but I mean, you got to give the kid credit,
Yeah.
And as Tom Izzo said, that was basically a lucky shot. I mean, you don't practice that a lot from 55 feet,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But they had their chances. They were behind by 9 with like 4 minutes to go, something like that. And they come back and they fought. And the ironic thing was here, all this buildup, all the hype about number 16 is hosting number 8. The place is rocking. They're making more noise than they made in years in this arena. And then Michigan State is held to under 20 points, under their average. And Maryland is held to 28 points.
Yeah.
5 were averaging 83.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a defensive root canal. That's what it was. Halftime, it's 23-21.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just two teams just battling their tails off, and neither team played the best game of the season, 3-1 up.
We'll come back with highlights. We don't have any? Oh, okay.
There's no highlights, no.
So
there's no highlights, no.
Right. Julian Reese, I have nothing but the highest respect for. I just have always liked his game and his length. What has Queen meant to him in the lineup when they're both out there together?
Well, there was a game earlier this season that Julian basically got in Queen's face. He was doing something that Juju didn't like and pulled him aside and kind of read him the riot act. And I think that's the big brother, little brother combination because they played together when Derek was a freshman, I guess, and Julian was a senior at St. Francis Academy in Baltimore.
Right.
So they spent 1 year together, and Julian's much older, much more mature, much more experienced. And I thought that was pretty good leadership to take the kid aside who has all kind of accolades this year thrown his way, All-American, freshman, headed for the NBA, first round, all this stuff.
Right.
And I think it kind of brought him back down to earth. That if you listen to a guy like Reese, who's been through the wars over and over again, and he has struggled, like every guy has struggled coming through the program as a freshman, you get better each year. He knows what it's like. He knows what it takes to work hard.
Right.
And that's something I think he's trying to get the message across to Derek. You can't take a game off. You can't take a play off. You've got to give it your best shot 40 minutes of every game. And there's a tendency sometimes, because the game comes so easy for him, he's running up and down the floor. And you'll see tomorrow, it looks like he's hardly putting any effort into what he's doing.
Right.
He just makes the game look so easy. It comes to him so easy, and averaging almost a double-double for the season. So Juju's been a big, big help to Derek.
I want to ask about Deshaun Harris-Smith, because last year when I saw him a couple times, I felt like at times he was lost. But you and I both know, just through the long careers we've had, that players develop on their own clock. It looks to me now like that is a player that is comfortable and knows exactly what to do and why he's doing it. Am I being fair to him here?
Oh, I think so. And it's also got to be, I think, Steve, a major letdown for him, because he came into Maryland, the Gatorade Player of the Year, high school All-American, McDonald's All-American.
Yep.
Oh, he had this, he had that. He was just the highly touted savior of the program, and started just about every game last year. This year he started the first 4 games of the year, and now he's coming off the bench. His numbers are way down compared to what they were last year. They weren't that good last year. But I think he understands when he does come in, and Kevin Willard has praised him over and over again for his defensive effort, for his doing exactly what they want him to do, play defense, distribute the basketball, don't worry about scoring. He has proven he is not a high scorer, but he steadies things down. And I think, as you said, he has found his niche. And I thought it was a tough adjustment for him. We've only had him on our pregame show one time this year. Mm-hmm. That was about 3 games ago. And I felt like, well, what am I going to talk to him about? It was probably one of the best interviews anybody has done with me this year. Wow. He was open. He answered the questions. I mentioned about the adjustment he's had to go through from last year to this year, and how tough it must be on him. But he gutted it out, and he realizes he's playing at Division I basketball. He's only a sophomore. Right. He's a young guy. And to play at this level in the Big Ten, to be in a program like Maryland, I think he knows exactly what his role is. He embellishes it. He's not going to gripe and moan about anything. Goes out there, and when he's called upon, he will give him 8, 9, 10 minutes a game and good effort. He's a great kid. I mean, I kind of feel sorry, not a little bad for him that it hasn't worked out the way he thought it was offensively, but he does so many other things as well.
You talked about the ability for Maryland to score, and they've got scores, but they're in the top 20 in most of all the defensive numbers across the country. What has made this a better defensive team for Kevin Willard this year?
I think probably the guard play, really, Steve. Even though Gillespie and Rice are both, in fact, all 5 starters average double figures. Had that been the case the other night against Michigan State, the Terrapins would have won that game. But unfortunately for Reese and for Selton Miguel, they ended up under double digits, and that was the difference. But I think the defensive work of Gillespie, the defensive work of Rodney Rice has been a major factor, and the addition of Selton Miguel. You know that Reese is going to get his rebounds. You know that Queen's going to get his. They're both going to block shots. But the big surprise may be of that starting 5, Selton Miguel, who has more points scored than anybody on this team, and now in his 5th year of playing college basketball. Yeah. But he's also a good defender. And Gillespie and Rice usually are put on the top scoring guy from the other team. So one of those guys will be on Ace Baldwin probably tomorrow. And that's going to be a load right there to try to shut him down or contain him. But I think they've all bought into the fact that Kevin Willard, he emphasizes over and over again defense. If you can't play defense for him, you're going to be sitting in that pine watching the game from the bench. So they understand if you want to get minutes and you want to, make your mark, play defense. And that's exactly what they've been doing.
What was Kevin's impression of the matchup with Penn State?
His impression is looking at the numbers. He said there is no way this team should be 15-14. No way. He said, look at the close games that they have lost in the final 3-4 minutes of a ball game. He said, you got 5 seniors who will be honored tomorrow, guys that have been around the program a long time. You got all the transfers that Coach Rhodes brought in. You got the 3 freshmen getting some minutes. And the fact you got to play there on senior day in a place that has not been kind to the old Turtles. We've only won twice up there. That's hard to believe. I thought there was a misprint. No, only twice. And the last time was 10 years ago. Yeah. So it is not a welcome place for the visitors to come play. For some reason, Penn State just plays some of their best basketball against us, and these guys understand that this is not going to be a cakewalk. And so you're number 16, yeah, big deal. You can get knocked off like that real quick. So I think you're going to find a Maryland team a little bit more focused tomorrow. Yeah. And as Kevin said, maybe you learn something from a heartbreaking loss like the other night. And you go out there and realize that you got to play and you can't have a first half like you had. You can't shoot 31%, season low. Just all the intangibles. You just can't do what you did the other night against a good Penn State. He's worried about the game, as every coach would be when you come up there and play. And it's the same with me, having to, walk to the concourse at the old Bryce Jordan Center and see all the Steve Jones jerseys and, stuff like that. And then I have to try to defend my turf and say, I know I've been listening to him for years and how good you are. It's the same old stuff, know. Go to the restaurant and I'd get a great seat at another restaurant across the street because, mention your name and they say, sure. But anyhow, it's gonna be an interesting time. Yeah, and how am I doing this? How am I doing this with a straight face?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, how am I doing this? I am my partner in crime, Mrs. Holiday, is looking at me like, is that Steve? Yes, it is Steve. Yes.
Very clear. I love her.
It is Steve. Yeah. And shrug of the shoulders. A tip of the nose, and good night, and he leaves the room.
And let me put it to you this way. I'm sorry you're not coming up tonight, coming tomorrow, because I had this gift card at Sonic, and...
like I was walking down the concourse a couple of games ago, and the guy comes up to me and he says, "Johnny, I own Mission Barbecue." I said, "You're going to be kidding me." Wow. Yeah. I said, "My wife and I were just there a couple of days ago. It's the best barbecue in the Washington, Maryland area, Mission Barbecue." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, it's my company here. Well, let me give you the gift card. Be my guest." Okay? So about a week later, we go by Mission Barbecue, and I go to use the gift card. It's for $2. I said, no. Why don't you keep the gift card and give it to someone? $2 from the guy that owns the company. Oh, my God. There must have been a mistake there somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. There's a couple zeros missing. Hey, you're the greatest. Exactly. I will see you tomorrow.
All right. I can't wait, and good luck to you guys. It's always good to come up there. And love the fan base at Penn State. They're great.
Johnny, you're the best, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Steve. Thanks. Take care.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The White House meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky did not go well. The verbal clashes began when Vice President J.D. Vance accused Zelensky of not being appreciative.
They should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting?
Times.
No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Then the president got involved.
He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Forget the groundhog. The sales manager at Sunbury Motors Kia saw his shadow on the lawn, so that could only mean one thing. Huge discounts at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Hurry into Sunbury Motors Kia now and save up to $5,000 on 2025 Kia Sorentos with third-row seating. Sunbury Motors Kia has 14 to choose from. Save $36.34 on 2025 all-wheel drive Kia Sportages. And SMC has 25 available. You can save even more on Sorentos and Sportages with $750 in additional savings for owner loyalty. Save $32.21 on the hottest-selling third-row V6 SUV, the 2025 Kia Telluride, with 17 to pick from. More winter and early spring. Forget about all that. Let's be alive in 2025 with huge savings on new Kias through the end of February at Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf.